Um, what's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. Let me know you can hear me okay. Let me get a thumbs up. Type in R1 if you can hear me okay. I got to throw your chats up here. R1. All right. So, fight fans, we have a lot to discuss. I wanted to come on and bring you guys some light on this Ryan Garcia debacle and what his future plans hold. We also have news on Jaron Boots Ennis and who his next opponent's going to be. We're going to talk about Lomachenko, Tyson Fury, and we're also going to talk about Shakur Stevenson and who his next opponent's going to be. So all that and more. So without further ado, let's get this party started. What's up, guys? Armando in the building. Huh? He couldn't wait to be up in here policing stuff. Armando's like, somebody said, "What's up? What's up?" Oh, he's got to go. He's got to go. I mean, did you say what's up or did you say what's up? You know what I mean? Oh, he got to go. Listen, my man. Anyway, let's get right into this episode. Well, we have a lot of big fights coming around, and the announcement of Jaron Boots Ennis taking on Crowley. This will be a matchroom bout at Hearns. Jaron Boots Ennis will be coming into this bout right here. He'll be coming into it 31 fights, no losses, and 28 ways by knockout. His opponent Crowley has 22 fights and he's undefeated, and he has 9 ways by knockout. Now that's supposed to be a homecoming for Jaron Boots Ennis. He's going to be making a Philadelphia appearance. This is going to be big. The stage is set for him right now. His name's been thrown around a lot in some big fights. This will really showcase his skills and his claim at the top with the best of them. If he shall be successful in Philly. On July 13th, and that fight's going to kick off July 13th. So we got our next big fight right around the corner, which is May 11th, right? And we have Lomachenko going all the way out to Australia, and he's going to be fighting Camboza, and that's going to be for the IBF. Interesting enough, there's a lot of going back and forth on social media between Lomachenko's camp and Camboza's camp due to the rehydration clause that is in place for the IBF. Now, anyone knows that they fight for the IBF, there's a 10-pound weight clause, meaning you cannot exceed over 10 pounds the day of the fight. You weigh in 135 on weigh-in, and the next night they're gonna weigh in the guys, and what they agreed to was a 9 o'clock weigh-in, a 9 o'clock on the next day. So by 9 o'clock the next day, they'll have the second weigh-in, and which either fighter cannot be over 10 pounds leading into the fight. Okay. So then right after that, we have May 18th, which is going to be one of the biggest nights in boxing in quite some time. Why? Tyson Fury is going to take on Usyk out in the desert for undisputed status at the heavyweight division. Now, we haven't had an undisputed champion in quite some time. So this is really big. Being the fact that this is the most prestigious belt in all of boxing, the heavyweight championship. And if you're sitting there asking yourself, why does he consider it the most prestigious belt in all of boxing? Well, could anybody else in any other division beat the heavyweight champion? That's why it's the most prestigious belt in all of boxing. Okay. And then you got Shakur Stevenson, the return of Shakur Stevenson. And he's going to be making a return in his hometown of Newark, New Jersey. Okay. He's going to be fighting Artem, and that's going to be on July 6th. And that will be title defense for Shakur Stevenson. And I believe at that point right there, that will be his last fight for Top Rank. I believe that him and Top Rank are gonna part ways. I'm not sure what his plans are. I don't know who he's gonna sign with or what his future plans are, but I would like to see how he fares against this guy right here. He's a real life dog. Um, and we're gonna talk about that, right? There is one of the biggest news in all of boxing right now, and it's the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney test results. Now, what I'm about to say, I'm gonna give you everything I looked up. I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna share with you how far down the rabbit hole I actually went and what I did to investigate exactly what's going on. My man, thank you, Armando. Thank you. We're gonna throw that up on the screen there for you. Thank you. Yes. And I'm going to share with you guys everything I broke down, and you guys have at it. You guys have at it, and you guys tell me what you think about everything. Okay. So, when the news first broke about Ryan Garcia popping positive and Devin Haney and his father coming out saying that they knew about the test results and him being positive on the 19th and on the 20th. I have receipts. I had made a video in talking about this, and I had said, "Wow, that's amazing that you guys know the results of a steroid testing that fast. What do you guys got? Rapid steroid testings over there? From what I know, a steroid, your average steroid test can run you any between 1,200 and 1,500, and sometimes more, just one test. There are things you need to do." So I found that very peculiar at the time. So what it led me to do, in fact, was to chase the source of the initial story. Where did this story break? Is what I started asking myself. And the story first broke when that reporter guy posted the alleged letter from Vada saying that Ryan Garcia tested positive for not one, but two PEs. Then later on, Ryan Garcia's mother posted her letter of her son passing the VADA test. And when they put the letters side by side, the letter that the story broke, that looked like a fake letter. The wording, the typing the ink was wet, like it was like spreading. Even the letterhead was off. So everyone started to question the letter itself. So, and then I even went and took it a step further. Now, according to my experience in boxing, I know this. The people that have the most power in this entire situation is the New York City Boxing Athletic Commission. That's where the fight was held. That's who's responsible. That's who needs to come out and say he popped dirty. Ironically, I chased down every source that I could from the New York Boxing Athletic Commission, and comes to find out the only people saying things are people and fans like you and me. The New York Boxing Athletic Commission has never released an official statement acknowledging that he was dirty. So, and then when I went and I tracked down Vada, how did Vada get into this boxing match? Because typically it has to be requested. So, how did they get in here? So, I went and I tracked down that Ryan Garcia, in fact, passed the test is for the New York Boxing Association, Athletic Commission, and the WBC. So as far as their testing goes, he was cleared. How did Vada get into this? Remember when Ryan Garcia was having that meltdown all over social media? And Ryan himself came on social media and said, I'm clean, that I'm going to even submit myself to random drug testing. Ryan Garcia was the one that hired an outside source, Vada, to test himself, meaning he volunteered all this trouble on himself. This wasn't issued by the Boxing Association. So I was digging, and it comes to find out that that's true. That's Ryan Garcia's outside source. Even though they are, a credible source. So I had to look up where Victor Content came into this. So I looked, and everybody was saying he works with Vada. Well, in fact, he does not work with Vada. I looked him up. They have him hired as an outside source, as a consultation, an advisor. If Vada has any questions, they call him. He doesn't actually work for them. So he's not actually involved with the testing. It's not to say that he doesn't know anybody in the building and they couldn't do him a favor, but you really think Vada's going to stake out their name like that? That's something that later on with proper testing they could find out that somebody messed with that or tampered with it. You don't really want that, So what happened was, as soon as I found that out, I said, wait a minute. Let me check the initial statement that Vada released to the public on how he's dirty, right? So when I went to check out Vada's initial statement, I came to realize, once again, Vada has never issued a statement. It's just us, people biting down writing. But the main headquarters themselves, they haven't said anything about no A sample, B sample, nothing. So I'm like, where the fuck is the A and the B sample coming from, right? Allegedly, this is what's going to have to happen. The New York Boxing Athletic Commission has to accept Vada as a credible source. If they don't accept Vada as a credible source and they didn't hire them, then there's no dirty urine. Meaning he didn't pop dirty for nothing. So if the New York Athletic Committee decides, to eliminate all this, that was between you and them. You hired them. Or they can acknowledge it. They can say, you know what? Yeah, you popped dirty. You did this to yourself. And now we got to address it. You see? So a sanction could be handed down to Ryan Garcia if they deem that to be credible and worthy, the VADA testing. Then a suspension will be handed down. See, at that point, there's not a debate whether he's clean or dirty. No, they found the PE in his system. What they got to find out is how it got there. Maybe he took a weight thinner and it was tainted. Okay, credible. They find out what the weight thinner was. They test it. It comes back that same one. I've seen that done a lot of times in sports. But at the end of the day, this is what they do, and this is how they handle that situation. They tell you, as an athlete, you are responsible what you put into your body. If you don't know what that is, you need to have it tested. If there's a bottle there with water in your gym and you're training, you're thirsty, don't drink out of that bottle. You're responsible for it. So although it was an accident, you still put it in your body. Here's your suspension. Tang. There's no way around the suspension once they deem that, yes, in fact, he had it. They might not accuse him of being a cheater, and they might be able to prove that he drank a tainted source. But he's still going to get a suspension because you are responsible. That's the rules, period. Oh, you helped us find out where it came from. Well, thank you. Here's your suspension. Pow. That's how that works. Then Ryan Garcia goes on social media. He's arguing with back and forth with Errol Spence Jr. And he says, I gotta fight. I'm gonna fight with Errol Spence Jr. in August. And I started counting. Wait a minute. Don't you gotta deal with a suspension? How the hell are you gonna fight Errol Spence Jr. so fast? One or two ways. One, three ways. It's actually three ways. One, he prolongs or appeals the suspension, and unless there's a verdict, he can continue to box. So within that time window, he can fight Errol Spence Jr. before the verdict even comes down. Right? Okay. Two, the suspension won't be that big. And he already knows it. And they talked about it, and he's admitted he can make that date. Or three, no suspension will be handed down, and he knows it. And all this shit was a fucking a fucking troll job by Ryan Garcia to getting more publicity with that fake ass VADA letters claiming that he was dirty so that he could rile everybody up. Because according to the New York Boxing Athletic, they're like they have an issue when he say now. I also thought the reason why they haven't put out an official statement is because they're probably waiting for the last everything the B sample, the third sample, whatever samples. They're probably saying we're not going to say nothing or address the media until we know everything, which is logical. Which I said, well, maybe that's why they're holding out on their statement. They're just waiting. I don't know. But like I said, here are all the facts that I found out. Everything I investigated. This is all the leads I chased down. I didn't watch a video. Guy talked about it. And I said, that makes sense. No, I started tracking all this shit down, to try to and I was like, yeah, VADA never actually issued a dirty letter like the one Ryan Garcia's mother had. It wasn't like that. And they never came out and addressed it. And I found that very weird. So this is why I'm sharing all this with you. Bad Boogie, my man. Couldn't wait to be in the building. Where they at? Where they at? I saw that case after finding out what the lab did. They had to discredit the case because of corruption. Yeah, bam, bam, bam. Yeah, 61,000 cases. What? Okay, I'm a little confused. They posted something airing out saying that they threw out the case because of corruption or something? I saw that case after finding out what the lab did. They had to dismiss cases because of corruption. But that was in drug cases, right? Like in Boston and shit, when they had like that chemist that was in the lab, she was smoking crack and she started putting like fake drugs in the things and it tainted like everybody. And she was doing like record pace work. They would bring her like the case that would take months to like test the cocaine and make sure the purity of the cocaine, run it through the machines, get the charts of it, and it comes out. She was doing it in 24 hours. It was like, where's your machine? Right here. That's some real shit right there. That's 86% pure. That's Carlito shit right there. Yes, take my word for it. Yo, and she got like mad cases fucking overturned because of her tainting with evidence. Yeah. Yeah, guys. Yeah. Yeah, I'm from Mass. I'm from Boston. I know all about that. Actually, I know a couple of friends that got out on that. Real talk. Real talk. Yeah, I know a couple personal friends of mine that was like, I'm free. Real talk, bro. Over that. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Cambridge, up in Cambridge lab. I remember it. Yeah. So one of the biggest fights right now that I'm waiting for too is that Javante Tank Davis fight against Frank the Ghost Martin. Absolutely. Now that's gonna be a banger. I believe Frank the Ghost Martin is going to do pretty well, but I just think that Tank Davis is just a little bit on a different level. You know, anything can happen in boxing, as we witnessed the other night with Naoya Inoue when he got dropped. You know what I'm saying? So anything can happen, but I want to see that Tank Davis with Frank Ghost Martin, you know what I mean? Uh I think that Frank is the more athletic fighter from the last previous opponents that Tank's had. He's more athletic, and I believe he will present a better challenge. And I think he'll be able to take Tank's punches and make it really interesting. But all in all, I think Tank gets him out of there between I was thinking 6'8", between 6 and 8, but it might be just, a little bit later. But I think he's gonna knock Frank Martin out. I think so. Frank Martin has an opportunity of a lifetime here. He has an opportunity to come in and shock the world. He's more than capable. He's fought good boxers and boxer technicians like Rivera. When he fought Rivera, Frank Martin showed that he has the ability to evade punches, to go in, slip shots. He really utilized his jab, his footwork in there. And he looks strong in the fight. He looks strong while he's punching as well. So every time you see these fighters, the next time you see them, I expect to see a better version of that fighter. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Frank the Ghost Martin, but a better version of himself. And as for Tank Davis, you could see that he's getting in a lot of physical shape. I just hope that he's not, you know, uh, not focusing on the fighting itself, because sometimes fighters, they can get to a point in their career where they're like, I know how to fight, I just got to stay in shape. And that's, you have to keep your punches sharp. You got to keep everything moving and keep that machine nice and oiled. You don't want it all rusty on you, all stiff. You don't want that. And the other night when Naoya Inoue came out with Luis Pantera Nares, a couple of my commentators, subscribers have mentioned that he was looking a little stiff in the first round. And I took that because he was just making reads. I also went back and looked at Naoya Inoue at 118. He was ripped. You could see all his abs, the sides, his neck. He was just ripped. And you could see, because I wanted to do a comparison of how he's starting to form himself at 122 pounds. So, he's looking thicker. He doesn't look like he has the abs like he did at 118. And, that's where I start to determine if the fighter themselves are really maxing themselves out. When I first saw Tank Davis at 140, he was blimp the fuck up, bro. When he fought Mario Barrio, go back and watch that fight. Yo, Tank Davis' stomach was out here like this. He had no abs. You couldn't see a muscle on him. He was all round, but he didn't lose a step. His speed was there. His twitch like muscles was there. Yo, that little dude is amazing. He's amazing. Like, he was blimp the fuck up at 140, bro. And he looked just as sharp. It was like nothing, man. He was fast on Mario Barrio that night. And I didn't have nothing to say about his performance, but his physical shape or how he looked, he didn't look all that impressive at 140 like he does at 130 and 135. As you can see, Tank Davis is getting abs now. I saw him on some of the training videos. He's looking amazing. He looks like he's really in shape. Besides all the social media stupid shenanigans, he looks focused. He looks focused. And that's what I want to see. A prime ready, focused Tank Davis, because eventually Loma, I believe, is going to be victorious in this fight against Cambozas. Now, I believe George is a great fighter. I just think that, between them two, I'm going to take Loma in the fight. I understand that Loma's getting older. And I'm going to tell you right now, Camboza's a live dog. He's a live dog in this one, too. He's strong. He's strong. And Loma's right up his alley when it comes to, the same height, reach. I'm not sure in styles they're similar. I believe Loma's mobility's a little bit, but as he gets older in age, we're gonna see how well he moves. Um, you know, George can shock the world. But either way, whoever wins will be the IBF 135-pound champion of the world. That being said, I believe that Tank Davis is going to look to unify those titles, or fight Shakur Stevenson. You know, um, Shakur's fighting Artem in New Jersey. Um, I believe he'll be successful there. Where he goes from there, where he ends up with what promotional company, that yes, yet to be seen. There's a few fighters right now. I want to see what happens. I wanted to see if Naoya Inoue was actually going to move up to 126 pounds, but it looks like he's going to stay at 122 pounds, and it looks like he's going to fight Goodman. Now, whether or not, I remember there was a rumor way back when Goodman's promoter was saying that he wanted him to go out to Australia. I get that. That's a big. When George Camboza, Devin Haney went out there, that was a big arena. Yes, it is. But I believe that the world, the United States and America, we want to see the Japanese superstar. And if we start letting it be known that we're interested in watching him, isn't he amazing? Isn't he everything I told you? We were watching his fight, and for the first time in his career, he was put down to the mat. And I was talking with my brother, and I had already said this in a previous video in my live reaction. I have one after that too. In that one, I mentioned this. And I said, that goes to show you, because if you was to use an analogy, Devin Haney came across the same situation and the same problem. And he wasn't able to overcome that, or, battle the power. And the Japanese superstar did, in fact, and the way he did it, the way he rose up off the canvas and decided, not only am I not out of this fight, but I'm going to look to win this fight. First, he established control of the fight. And once he established control, he got that one back by knocking Luis Nery down. Once he did that, his confidence was really through the roof. And, when you hit someone as a fighter, you can tell. When you hit someone, you could feel it in your fist. You could feel when you hit somebody good or you hit them wrong. I've hit dudes, and I walked away, told my boy, man, I hit him wrong. I hit him wrong. I hit him with this part right here. This part of your knuckles will break. You have to lead with these two. So when you lead, and I was checking out Naoya Inoue's form and the way he delivers his punch, because at this point, I'm trying to figure out how this little dude is hitting this hard, right? Whether it's technique, whether it's develop, like how is he hitting this hard? And the thing that I didn't want to come to, the conclusion I did not want to come to, was he was born with it. I didn't want to come to that conclusion, because then that's when you stop thinking. That's when, like, if I automatically come out and say, nah, he's born with it, I won't question it no more. And I know that about myself. So in order to deny that to myself, it would allow me to study him even further, in which I did. In which I came up to the conclusion he was born with it, but still, I still study his technique, right? And a gentleman the other day was telling me about him raising his elbow, right? And that's in his technique, right? But when he hits, he raises his elbow up like this and he gets tall. He lifts his feet up to his tippy toes a little, like the back of his feet are down. The one in the front is flat. And then when he starts to turn it, it's like if he's dropping it down on an angle. He's not hitting you straight. He's actually looping it just this much and dropping it like right here. It's so subtle, the loop in the movement, that you would think he was just hitting them straight. No, but I think he's like moving his blood flow up, locking it right here, and at the right positioning, snapping it down like that. It's kind of like when you throw a knife, I throw knives. I know how to throw knives into a wall. And when I was learning, my instructor told me it's in the wrist. He said, if you throw the knife at the height here and you release it up here, by the time your movement's coming down, it's going to release here. But if you're thinking about hitting him here and you start to release it right here, it's going to hit the ground because the momentum is going to carry it that way. It's on your release, right? And like a pitcher, it's on your release in your wrist when you snap it, right? So when he's delivering it, it's on his release. Right here is the height. He gets it like right there and goes down. And by time he's already snapping his wrist and he's already turning his foot. And he's got all torque snapped on it. And it doesn't look like he had to cock back. And that's how he's getting a lot. And then he's got God-given power combined with technique. He has perfect technique with the power that he was blessed with, because it's obvious he had to be born with that kind of power, and he's just utilizing it in the right way. That I bet his fucking jabs hurt a lot. When he was hitting Luis Nery with some of those big shots, and I did go back and I watched the closing sequence, that uppercut rocked him. Yeah, I watched it over and over and over again, and it was the uppercut that had him hurt real bad. He was hurt real bad. I mean, that straight right when he just lifted up his elbow and he came down on it, I know it was a vicious shot because I studied that shot in multiple of his fights. He's done that same shot. He did it to Jason Maloney when he hit Jason Maloney, cocked back his shoulder, and he snapped him down. He's hit, and he hit Stephen Kubo Fulton. One to the body, straight right. Boom. And you see that reaction out of Stephen Kubo Fulton from that straight right? So he obviously hits freaking hard. He hits hard. But not only does he hit hard, he has phenomenal technique. Phenomenal technique, man. A couple of his flaws that I was watching, he's not familiar with a couple things. He tends to relax sometimes in some situations. I bet that knockdown woke his ass up though, right? Um, he tends to relax in certain situations, and I believe it's because in due in part to his dominance. I truly believe he was starting to get bored in there. And I truly believe that knockdown was a blessing in disguise. I truly believe that it's also going to wake him up and put him right back in that mindset where he says, I need maximum motivation. If listen, if you were the type of man that is coming into your 23rd consecutive world title fight and your last 10 fights, you fought for 2 belts or more. Out of the 14 world champions you fought, you knocked out 12 of them. And you're undefeated. And in your last 10 fights, you knocked out your last 10 opponents. Your last 10 opponents, you knocked out straight. You might have been thinking you were getting bored. It might have not been that nobody was really, and that's why I take that as a blessing in disguise, because although I would not like to see him lose for that the lesson is taught, you didn't need him to lose to teach that lesson to him. You see? What occurred was enough. to open his eyes, to remind him you are still in a fight. And anything can happen in a fight. You see? Now, Errol Spence Jr. wants to make his ring return. And he apparently, Ryan Garcia is saying he wants some of that action, right? And I'm saying, Ryan Garcia, did you forget who Errol Spence Jr. is? You know, people can get misled because of that loss against Terrence Crawford and be confused about who Errol Spence Jr. once was and still could be. You know, all he has to do, my question to Errol Spence Jr. would be, is your heart still in the sport? And if it is still in the sport, then go for it. Right? So please get them likes up. Thank you. And like if his heart's still in it, and if it's not, walk away from the sport, brother. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Technically, you only lost to one guy. And Ryan Garcia may think that he's ready for Errol Spence Jr., but he needs to really pay attention to what really is going on. And the truth is, you might say that Errol Spence Jr. sucked or looked horrible against Terrence Crawford, and I'll agree with that. But what I won't agree with is that Errol Spence Jr. is trash or that he's all done. That I won't co-sign. Why? Because according to 99% of everybody else he came up against, he beat 99% of everybody else. Only 1%, one person actually beat him. He had 3 belts. So Ryan Garcia, you've never even fought for a world title. You've never competed for a world title. And you know that I add that, right? On purpose, right? He's never competed for a world title. Why? Because technically, by being disqualified and not making weight, the belt was never on the line. So did you compete for it? No. Technically, you did not. Will you get credit for competing for it? No. So I'm not giving you credit for it. Okay? He has never competed for a world title. He has never held a world title. Okay? So since, Errol Spence Jr. is a former unified world champion and he's a much bigger man, you would be fighting him, I believe they said at 154. It was rumored 160, 154, right in there, but I believe it'll be at 154, right? Um, that's a big jump on Ryan Garcia. And if you really, really are serious, and then the announcement that Ryan Garcia made, he said, I'm going to be fighting Errol Spence Jr. in August, which right away, you guys know me, my spider senses started going off. And I was like, August? Isn't August 3rd the month that Terrence Crawford's fighting? On that massive August card where Tim Zoo's fighting, Virgil Ortiz, and Jerome Baby Miller's fighting, right? All these cards, all these guys are on this card. And Ryan Garcia just like hinted to the fact that him and Errol are going to fight in August. So, my investigator hat came on. I was like, is Errol really going to be ready for the card that Terrence Crawford's on, fighting the undercard? And whether or not they actually fight on that card, Ryan Garcia, you did say August, right? It could be another August card, right? But the moral of the story is, Errol Spence Jr., you pulled out of the Terrence Crawford rematch citing that you wouldn't be ready to fight him. You told him, brother, go on. I don't want to hold you up. But you guys are now both coming back to the sport on the exact same month. And was everyone supposed to not me? I recognize that shit. My spider boxing mind is like ding, 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 ding. Everybody else might be rocked to sleep, but not Round One Sports Talk. No. That means you didn't want them hands, baby. Yo, that's what that means, right? I should have read this thing before I looked at it. I just threw it up on the screen. It's God given power. It is something special. It is something special, man. Boogie, please tell the world, Boogie. I threw it up there for you, Boogie. Explain to the world why he's not. I'm gonna let you tell it because according to these people and Ryan Garcia, he actually thinks he could beat Errol Spence Jr., bro. Woo! I was like, but look, you see what an ass whooping does for your career? Now everybody thinks you sweet. Now they want to start calling you out like you that dude to call out. Technically, Ryan Garcia has a big name. He's coming off that massive win over Devin Haney that no one on planet Earth had him winning. And yeah, you shocked the cart one time. Do you really think you're gonna keep continually doing that? I don't know, right? So technically, Ryan Garcia is a big name for Errol. And if you're gonna, what bigger name could you get? And if Ryan Garcia is volunteering for the ass whooping, this is Errol Spence Jr.'s job, right? He is within his legal working rights to whoop his ass, right? I say bring it on. I say bring it on. After that whooping Ryan Garcia gave to Devin Haney, and now he wants, look at, let me tell you something about this fucking Ryan kid, right? He hasn't fought for a world title and he hasn't done none of that shit, but he is fighting the top guys, I gotta admit. Yo, he is fighting all the top names. He's not actually like running from the top names no more. He's actually running towards them. Um, so that I gotta give him. He fought the Tank Davises, the Devin Haney's. What about Shakur Stevenson? Isn't he supposed to be the best fighter in like everywhere? Why isn't Shakur Stevenson fighting Tank Davis? Why isn't Shakur Stevenson fighting Devin Haney? Why isn't Shakur Stevenson challenging to fight Errol Spence Jr.? Because Ryan Garcia is built like that. He's just that fucking crazy. And the kid got skills, bro. We can't deny that. That fucking power is for real. That speed is for real. He just got to get better, in the training. What worries me is that the elephant in the room, the man that's training you, Errol Spence Jr., was trained by for years. He knows all his techniques, everything. He basically knows what you're going to do, Ryan Garcia, in a sense. I know every fight is different, but he does know your tactics and if you're in there or not. And Frank Martin is his fighter. What you think? Frank Martin's not going to tell him whether Ryan Garcia is in there or not? Like, it's just too close to home for all the small details for me, you know? Ryan Garcia's yelling that he wants to get revenge for Derek James type shit when Errol Spence Jr. is the one that begged Derek James to take you in. It's just a whole fucking debacle, bro. It's like a soap opera, kind of. You know what I'm saying? But it would be a good fight, I guess. If I was, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. I got the tag team dynamic duo. Police and shit around here. Yeah. They just patrolling. Bam Bam's waiting for someone to sneeze. What you do? You're out of here. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, but it would be a good fight. It would be a good fight, I think. I mean, this look, if we were to recap the 2024 right now, it's been a pretty crazy year already, such far, huh? We saw some of our favorite fighters lose, and we saw some drama, some announcements, and we also still have a lot of big fights too. The Saudis are really, they're really changing the sport. and they're putting together and they're talking about all these cards. They're talking about further future cards. Terrence Crawford in the future. The Saudi prince really likes himself some Terrence Crawford. He likes Javante Tank Davis, but I think Javante Davis put his foot in his mouth with the Saudi prince, talk about, you better get me two Ferraris and all this stupid claims. Bro, you don't talk to a man that can probably put the most money that you're looking for in your pocket. Like, don't shoot yourself in the foot. You're not gonna make that kind of money with fucking the PBC. You know what I mean? Like, what was he thinking? I don't know. But I'm fair, but I'm firm. My man, you guys are the shit, man. I love you guys. I got that itchy trigger finger. That's just like that. Yeah. You guys are wild. Oh yeah. Uh so yeah, you know, if we're talking about some of these biggest fights right now, I gotta admit, I would love to see Bam Bam Rodriguez. He's fighting coming up right now. I want to see Bam Bam. I'm a real big fan of Bam Bam Rodriguez, Jesse. I wish he was a little bit bigger so that he would have been the man to fight Naoya Inoue. Boy, would I have liked to see a fight like that against a fighter like Bam Bam Jesse Rodriguez, that is not only a good boxer and a boxing technician, he's a very crafty puncher. He has a real good ability of doing those like surprising punches, those kind of like top 10 knockouts, and he does it really well. He's real lengthy, but he's just not big enough. 115, 108, 15. If in a good world, Naoya Inoue can move back down to 118, he could fight Jesse. Jesse can move up to 118. But as of right now, the storm is for real. The Japanese fighters, that storm that we were talking about, that little tsunami, well, it's not that little and it's here. It has landed. It has touched down. In fact, I believe as of this morning, every champion in 118, all four belts, belongs to a Japanese fighter now. All the belts. And they're all separate Japanese fighters. And then throughout the course, all the way down, they must have like 12, 13 world champions right now. I got to go check that out. So don't hold me on that number, because I know they lost a couple too, but they regained a lot. And I didn't go in this morning and check that out. I should have checked that out for you guys, and I should be better informed. That won't happen again. I'm going to have that for you. I even hold myself to a high standard. Fuck that. You fuck around and don't have those stats again, dog. It's me and you outside. Hey, yo, Boogie, do something about this, bro. Yo, you know what I mean? So, listen, I want, I want to know how many champions they got and what's the future looking like, for them. Japan is really, they're setting their mark. And is it me or a lot of their guys look really good? At least the top guys that have the belts anyway. I haven't really checked out all of them. I know they don't all look like that, but for the most part, and then Naoya's kid's brother is one of them at 118. He's down there. So he's got his kid brother, the cousin, the whole family's doing their thing. So yeah, I just think that Naoya Inoue is still the top Japanese fighter. As I think about it, I want to say that just maybe one of them will give Naoya Inoue a better fight. I don't think any of them are on that level just yet, but I tell you this much, they're not far away at all. I mean, they're on his ass. As far as skills and everything else, they're like right there. Just a little bit more, I would think, because you got to give the experience to Naoya Inoue. You got to. He's been in those big fights, those big arenas. and had all this writing on the line. He knows what it's like to have the pressure of four belts, your country, your father, your wife. He knows what to do with that. And even though these guys have been in some big fights and shit and world stage, it's not the same. It's not the same when you go into that massive showdown. It's not the same. So, I gotta give the experience to Naoya Inoue, but congratulations to Japan. It seems like they're getting, one of their like eras. It seems like a lot of America has always had their foot in the door in some big eras. Mexico had their wave, their era. They have a good era in boxing. There's been the Ukrainians, the Russians, they had, and the Europeans, when the Klitschko's and Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury and the Europeans, they were having a big era then too. It was like, we didn't have a lot of belts back then. I remember there was a time they had the Triple G's, they had the Gonzagas, they had a huge wave. So it looks like Japan is making their mark right now and really staking their claim as their wave starts to come through. Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot of great fights. So, and I like it. I just wish they were a little bit bigger, man. If they were just in that 130, 135, right in there, where our guys are, you know, some of the top American guys are right now. I want to see the Japan guys fight against the Camille Motons, against the Abdullah Madisons, against the Keyshawn Davis. I want to see them fight those guys. You know what I'm saying? Those are young boys, bro. Them boys look sharp. Keyshawn Davis, he started to slip into that social media lamplight, getting a fight suspended due to marijuana, smoking weed. I hope that weed was worth it, because it should have been worth, that blunt you smoke should have been worth $120,000, because that's what you stood to make on that night. So that one blunt you smoked, that's 120 G's. I hope that shit got you fucked up, right? Or it was worth it. I don't think there's no blunt in the world that's worth $120,000. But apparently he thought that. So he needed to get his act together. He looks like he is. He fought his next fight. He looked good in it. He started a little beef with Tio on stage. There was a lot of rumor he smacked Tio's dad. I didn't really follow that because of really the distaste in the case. It'll get my blood going. Start talking about somebody smacking my dad. Just the thought of it, just, you see how I already know what it's doing to me in the back of my mind here. So I don't even want to address that. So I'm just like, whatever. So, but like fighters like that, when I saw that wave of Japan fighters coming down, I Naoya Inoue is their biggest fighter. Well, he's actually their biggest champion. I'm not sure if he's technically their biggest fighter, right? But I know he's their biggest champion. And if he's their biggest champion at 122, yeah, so that we don't have a lot of small guys like that, that are going to be there. Besides some of the Russells, there's some of the Russell brothers I still think that can make that weight and make some of those fights interesting. Or whether or not Stephen Kubo Fulton and Naoya Inoue will meet up again, come back and relive the fight again. Yeah. I was thinking that Loma was going to show out. Like, when I talk about Loma, I expect to see the Loma that we all know and love, right? I expect to see that explosive, really cut corners, sharp movement, slick punching, Lomachenko, where that he's like really like dancing circles around his guy, right? Then I went and I watched the press conference, right? And I started seeing George Cambosa's, and I know shit talking. I've heard plenty of shit talking in my life, and it wasn't the shit talking. It was the look in his eye and this and his voice, right? It's just something about character that I have learned over throughout the courses of my life. You know, I'm a pretty good judge of character. I could be wrong anytime, but when I, it's always in the eyes for me. It was always in the eyes. It was when I would look in a man and I could like see into his eyes, I knew whether I was into a fight, I had this dude beat, like everything. That's for me, it was always in the eyes. And when George was speaking in his voice, he was serious. I think he's done everything in his power to train. Now, whether or not it's gonna be enough to beat Loma, we're gonna have to find out. I think Loma stops him. My honest opinion, I think Loma stops him. If Loma comes in anywhere like he did against Devin Haney, I don't think George Kamboza has enough to ward off Lomachenko. Now, there are a lot of factors in this, equation. Loma is getting up there in age, and that has me a little worried. What will he look like on fight night? You see, so but George Kamboza, he's he's coming for this belt. He's not coming for a paycheck, and he's not coming to lay down. I do know who George Kamboza is. I do know how many world champions he's beaten, and I've seen the men he's beaten. He can fight. I seen that ass whooping he put on Tio. Tio, he didn't fight the fight he fought against Loma on that night. I agree, but he still whooped Tio's ass. He still. Tio dropped him in that fight, and Loma showed resistance and resilience in that fight, and he got up and finished the fight, and he was successful, and he won that night. So Loma's been in wars. He was a little gun shy with Devin Haney. Devin Haney was just doing whatever. That's the type of fight that I saw a jab win the fight. The jab won Devin Haney the fight both times, basically. So he just couldn't get around it. But I think with this fight, uh I'm gonna say 55-45. I give 55 to Loma, 45 to Kamboza. That's for me. It's almost a 50-50 fight. I think I'm gonna give Loma the slighter edge. I wouldn't give him the whole 60-40. I'm just gonna give him a slight edge on this one. I really liked how George Kamboza really addressed his whole mindset coming into this fight. He wasn't worried about the shit talking. There was very little of that. In fact, it was just, your typical supreme confidence. I'm gonna fuck this guy up, knock him out, taking my belt, stating my claim. Basic shit talking. That's you keep it right there. We're not talking about each other's wives or kids or anything else. Just your basic fight talk. So, I just see that he's locked in, laser focus. And like I said, I'm gonna restate it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna win the fight just because you're locked in, laser focus. But I just like his whole demeanor and his aura about him coming into this fight. So I really see him a live dog against Loma, even though I do see Loma being victorious. But I like this fight. Can Nomazchenko show up? Jesus, if Nomazchenko shows up, this would be a 70-30. If Nomachenko was in that ring against George Kamboza on this night, no. It would be we would be having a different conversation. And no, we haven't seen Nomachenko in quite some time. If we were talking about that version of Lom, no. You see, I used to have a habit of judging fights based off what the guy's name was used to or the fighter he once was. I soon realized that as the fighter ages and the fight game changes, the fighter themselves change too into different positionings in their careers. They're not that same man throughout their entire career. And that's why some people have a bad time seeing their favorite fighter lose. And they were blindsided because they didn't want to acknowledge when they needed to pay attention when their fighter was aging, lost a step, wasn't exactly that volume puncher they once was, wasn't hitting as hard. As your fighter's going through your career, you need to pay attention to your fighter, right? Loma looked great against Devin Haney. His last fight, he looked great. Was he Loma Nomaschenko on that night? There was flares and bits and pieces. Yeah, I can say that. There was flares of Nomachenko in there. It wasn't sustainable, but there was flares. Yeah, definitely 100%. I saw some flares of that old fighter. Yeah. Yeah. Can he capitalize off that fight over what he was doing with Devin Haney since that time? Has he been in the gym training, sharpening his has he? Or did he take time off and then got this fight and started training from that point? You see, these are some things and that's my job. That's what I do. I look all this shit up for you so that I can bring it to you guys. This is all this work I do, all these hours and all these videos I watch and I break down and I do all of this stuff so that when I make these shows, I give you guys the facts. All these hours of work that I put into this so that you see exactly a better picture in case you want to pick a guy, or if you're thinking about putting your money on it, you let me know. I'll break it down in my best of my ability, and I'll be honest with you, and I'll tell you what I think and I see in this fight. But like with every fight in the world, my name's not Lionheart. I'm not Notre Dame, and I can call Naoya knocking out Luis Pantera Nari in the 6th round. I mean, if you want um inside death information, you're gonna have to call Notre Dame himself. He's probably not on the chat today because he's at home like this. Right? Yo, that shit got to his head. Yo, Lionheart was all over it. Yo, I want my flowers. I called it. Yo, it went to his head. So, but that was a great call. I got to give him his flowers. But if I break things down, this is the homework and the investigations and things that I do, to really show that, yeah. Diddy wants to watch that. Yo, you guys are yo, yo. Thank you, thank you. Yo, listen, I take this very seriously, and I really like when I talk to my brother and stuff, right? He was arguing me. I think this was just yesterday about Teofimo Lopez being undisputed champion of the world. And I looked at him and I was like, bro, he was never undisputed. He was unified. That's the two different things. He goes, no, he had all 4 belts. And I had to explain it to him. You should have seen the look on his face when I broke it down for him and he went and looked it up. And he was like, so you never had all 4 belts? I was like, nah, unfortunately, he never had the all 4 belts. Devin Haney had the 135-pound championship at that time. Why do you think George Camboza fought him in Australia? To unify all 4 belts. And those are some of the stories and stuff that that's social media tries to put out. And that's why I dig and I do my research and my homework and my due diligence on this show. And before I say it into this mic, I done double check these sources and and really put a lot of thought and effort into finding all this stuff out for you guys rather than just going on YouTube and looking at somebody's video and agreeing to it. Yeah, that sounds smart. Nah, I'm not gonna go down that road. No, I'm not. And it takes all the fun out of it. I like going down these roads and playing detective and looking all this shit up. I get a kick out of it, investigating the truth. Oh, I fucking love it. It's right up my alley. So, yeah, yeah, guys. Look, man, you guys are the best. Yo, Edwin's light up. My man, you thinking just like me. I'm trying to get off right now so I can light up because I want to show some respect to the channel because my sister got me feeling some kind of way. She done said, "Oh, you were smoking. You think Ma would have liked that?" And I was like, maybe she wouldn't have, or maybe Ma would have been like, "Word, son." You know what I mean? Right, right. Hold on. I'm looking at right now on the side piece, Errol Spence Jr.'s social media account while I'm doing this live stream right now. Because I kind of wanted to see if I could see what his next thing was going to be with Ryan Garcia because they've been really going at it on social media and they've been dropping it. Trust me. Oh shit, that's dope. I'm watching myself on X now. It's a little bit backed up, but that's cool as shit. Oh no, that shit is on fucking point. Can't wait until the 22nd for those results. Well, that's probably what everyone else is waiting about. But I did find it sketchy that letter did look fake. And that I found it very interesting that VADA never issued a statement. And then I also found it interesting that the New York Boxing Athletic Commission didn't issue their statement into it, meaning that the only people that were really talking about this was Bill Haney, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and all of them. The one last thing that made me believe that there's going to be nothing done to Ryan Garcia and that somehow, some way, this is all going to come out to being either a mistake or something, because this is what's kind of sealing it for me. And I was going to share you with this at the end of the video, but Bam Bam just brought it up and he reminded me. And before I just completely forget, like I just almost did, I'm going to bring it to you guys. This is how I think that Ryan Garcia, in fact, is going to fight Errol Spence Jr. And Devin Haney's loss is going to remain the loss, and they're not going to overturn the loss. You know why? If you go to boxing record right now, and if you have gone on boxing record, yo, you guys there? I lost you for a second. Come on, man. Come on, man. Did it pop back on? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Word. Word. Hearing you good, clear now. Yes, nice. It came back on. I lost you for a second. All right, good, 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 good. Okay, where was I? Okay, and so what happened was on Boxing Record, if you go on Boxing Record, they had a yellow line, a bar across Devin Haney's name, and they had it on Ryan Garcia's name. It was a yellow bar. It was like to be determined whether the fight was going to be on no contest or they were going to, whatever ruling. So on Boxing Record, they had a bright yellow line right over Devin Haney's name. And if you went to Ryan Garcia's name, they had one on his. Today, I went to Boxing Record. I looked up Devin Haney. The yellow line is gone. I went to Ryan Garcia. The yellow line is gone. That means they already established the verdict. Remember, Boxing Record is the official site for everything boxing, right? And their updates are within the hours. So they update shit there hourly on that website. Okay. And whenever I want to look up a fight, if you ever want to know if another guy is fighting another guy and that the contracts were already signed over and that is official, when you go to Boxing Record and you look up the guy's name, their next opponent is going to say the guy's name. I always find out if the fights are official that way. When Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney was announced, in fact, I went there and I looked at it. So, if, for instance, let's test the theory, right? If you were to go look up Loma's name on Boxing Record, it's going to have him fighting his next fight against George Camboza. If you was to look up any of the guys that we mentioned or talked about today, the Boxing Record is going to have you schedule your next fight. So whenever they put up, if there was some controversy in the fight, anything to do with the fight, they highlighted yellow. And until that matter is handled with, that fucking yellow line does not disappear. I've seen that yellow lines on guys' names over and over again for multiple reasons. And then now the yellow line disappeared. So I was like, shit, what does that mean? Did they already fix this behind closed doors and then they're going to announce it? But neither of those guys are in restriction. Neither Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia. So I don't think they're going to overturn the decision and take away the loss to Devin Haney. Also, when you think about that, it's easier said than done. You may think and say, man, if he had a PE, then they shouldn't give Devin Haney that loss. Okay, well then call everybody back and give them back their money. Because if it's not a loss and it's not he didn't win, well then damn it, how the fuck did I lose my money? So they're not going to overturn it. They're not going to overturn it. No, they're not. They don't overturn shit like that, bro. It's not going to happen. You could cry all you want. That's just like Loma crying when he felt like he beat Devin Haney for the 4 belts. Loma said, I'm gonna fight the decision. Have you ever heard another word from that? They laughed him right out of court. Well, they don't overturn shit like that. You should have won. You should have knocked them out. You didn't want to have the judges? Well, then you should have knocked them out, period. See you later. It's hard to get a thing overturned once money started trading hands. You could overturn a decision in certain situations, but it'll be very difficult. Errol is levels above Ryan Garcia. Stop it. Listen, we all know this. I know this. You know this. But hasn't Ryan Garcia been fighting the best of the best? And didn't he fight Tank Davis? Didn't he fight Devin Haney? Hasn't he been this ballsy? Where we didn't think he was going to beat Devin Haney. We would stop playing. Ryan Garcia is not on Devin Haney's level. And Devin Haney is levels above Ryan Garcia. And according to Bill Haney, the job he's going to send his son in there to do, he's going to kill Ryan Garcia. So you need to have an ambulance on standby with the pads on. They better be warmed up because my son is going to kill Ryan. What happened? What happened? They said that same line. Come on, Ryan Garcia is not on the same level as Devin Haney. Man, Ryan Garcia is not on the same level of Errol Spence Jr. And what if he knocks Errol Spence Jr. out? What then? What then? Yo, this is boxing. Shit happens. Although, in a fantasy world, it's okay to, it'd be funny to say. I just think Errol Spence Jr. will rock fucking Ryan Garcia. I just think he's bigger. I think he's just big enough. He fought bigger guys. He's been hit by bigger men, big punches. I don't think Ryan Garcia really brings anything to the table, but apparently he's got this fucking right and left hook from hell itself. And I gotta admit, Ryan Garcia is fast as fuck, boy. He's fast as fuck, boy. Right? And anything can happen. And since, Errol Spence Jr. took that massive ass whooping, we don't know where his mindset's at. Ryan might start hitting him. He get flashbacks of fucking Terrence. We don't know. We have no idea until the day they're in front of each other. But what I can give Ryan credit for is at least he's fighting and calling out some of the biggest names in boxing when people like Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis are not fighting each other. Devin Haney hasn't fought Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, Errol Spence Jr. But you know who is? Fucking Ryan Garcia is the only one with enough fucking cojones to call these big guys out, because if we wait for everybody else, they ain't gonna give a shit, it looks like. So at least, I can at least give Ryan Garcia that. He might not be the greatest skill boxer, but god damn it if he ain't giving us the fucking fights. I ain't got no effects, but I'm going to try my old thing. I hope you heard that. Round one. Because the kids, at least he's doing it. Whether or not he can fucking beat him. At least he's daring to be great. And he's giving Errol Spence Jr. a good dancing partner. Come to think about it. Because without Ryan, who's Errol going to rock and roll with? I mean, no, that's kind of a stretch, but for money wise, because you always got Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora up there now, you got a couple of people, and the Charlo twins, I think they're both finished in the sport, being the fact that the last one just got stripped of his WBC world title. Jermell Charlo recently got stripped of that from getting arrested for a DUI. So, the WBC saw that, he's done. He hasn't defended the belt in over 2 years. His last fight was a catchweight fight against Jose Benavidez, and that wasn't even for defending the belt. And now you haven't even been in the ring and you're getting arrested. They just don't want that image attached to their belt. At the end of the day, this is a business, and that's what they're going to say, which is the most bullshit I've ever heard in all of boxing, because I think every fucking champion got some bullshit behind them and has some horror stories. But that was what they were basically saying in the article, that they wish him the best to get help, and they're breaking away from him. They're cutting ties. And what they actually said was some bullshit. They actually said they already made the decision to strip him before he was arrested. They just saying that to like save faith, like that. But yeah, at least Ryan Garcia has given us the big fights. I gotta admit. And no one thought he was going to beat Devin Haney. He pulled that off. No one thinks he's going to beat Errol Spence Jr. Could he do another massive upset? Could Ryan Garcia pull off one of the biggest upsets in the world? And is that fight true? Is Errol Spence Jr. Now, Ryan Garcia might be talking a little bit ahead of schedule, right? Or did he let the cat out of the bag? Does he know something none of us know? Because I thought he would have to deal with the suspension over that PE scandal before you get in the ring with Errol Spence Jr., in which I thought that this would be clout chasing at best. At best. But you got fucking Errol Spence Jr. himself, too, like double downing on it. I'm like, maybe potential, potential. I said, okay, okay. And I said, Ryan, if this is what your heart desires, you really want some errol? And then I said, I didn't think it was a smart move to go after Devin. And you proved me wrong. The naysayers, me, you proved me wrong. I did not have Ryan Garcia in that fight leading all the way into the fight, into that weigh-in. I got to be honest, I didn't. Until what happened famously the day before when he didn't make, and then you guys saw that my eye and my ring IQ caught that. I started putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and before leading into the fight, I said Ryan Garcia just might knock out Devin Haney, and uh, it happened, but yeah, yeah. Let's see where the kid, I got to give it to him for that at least. Cleaning up the horses is good, huh? He made a big mistake fighting Ryan. It's a classic case of when a cherry pick gone wrong. But I got to give it to Ryan. He trolled all of us. Come on, can we admit that? Can you type R1 for me if you got trolled by Ryan too? None of us thought he was gonna do that performance there on Devin Haney like that, guys. Not me. There was no way I could have foreseen that kind of dominance. And even when he stunned him, I thought that Devin Haney was gonna work around the power. I really did. Like I saw Naoya Inoue rise up off the canvas against Luis Nery. When I saw him, you guys know it. You guys were with me on the live stream. I said, if he makes it out of this round, because his fate was in his own hands at that point when he was hurt. Once he made it out the round, I said it. No, he's good. If you guys want to see what a superior fighter looks like and why you don't let that kind of fighter off the hook if you had him hurt, I said keep watching the fight and let's see what happens. It happened just like boop, 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 and he beat him. And I thought that Devin Haney was gonna do that. I thought that when Ryan Garcia had him in trouble in the fight, that Devin Haney was gonna come out and make adjustments. Yo, it was more than shocking to me that I can clearly see Devin Haney was lost in that fight. He did not know what to do. He forgot what he was there for. He forgot what he was training about. The embarrassment and the pain he was feeling by him being down the first time, knowing his wife is watching him with all his brothers, all the shit talking and all that extra pressure that he put on himself came flooding right into him. You see? And that's when I believe that his mind couldn't get him back into the fight. He wasn't mentally as strong than he would have liked to believe he was. When his mental fortitude was tested in that fight against Ryan Garcia, he fell apart. And he just kept doing that same kind of like hook shot that he was able to be successful like once or twice on Ryan. He didn't make no kind of adjustments. He didn't know how to deal with Ryan's power. He kind of like, even when Ryan was shaking his legs and sticking out his tongue at the end of the fight, it looks like he had subsided in the moral victory that at least he didn't get knocked out, that at least he didn't quit, that at least he made it through the 12 rounds, and he could take a moral victory from that and saying, I fought like a champion, in which he did. He didn't quit. Devin Haney wanted to quit in that fight, right? Devin Haney was hurt real bad. But because of the fact that his entire narrative going into that fight was accusing Ryan Garcia of being a quitter because he quit when Tank Davis punched him in the stomach with that body shot. And that's all he kept saying to Ryan Garcia. You're a fucking quitter. Once a quitter, always a quitter. And the ironic thing, his very next fight, what happens? He was actually in a situation where he was thinking about quitting in the fight. And some people think they should have stopped the fight. I really didn't go that far. I was like, come on, guys. This is boxing and you're going to get your ass whooped. He didn't give him that kind of ass whooping Terrence Crawford did to Errol Spence Jr., where that the lumps were on top of the lumps. Literally, Errol Spence Jr. had lumps on top of lumps. He looked disfigured, but they didn't want to stop that fight. But Devin Haney gets a little swollen jaw, and oh my God, please stop it. Devin looks hurt. He's so fragile. Bro, no. Devin Haney was like, no, I'm a man and I'm got to fight. And he knew he couldn't quit. He couldn't pull out that fight, bro. Not for all that shit he accused and talked to Ryan Garcia. And Ryan Garcia, believe me, he wanted that stoppage. And he was robbed from the stoppage. Yeah, let's not forget that referee, I think it was Devin Haney's uncle that was refereeing that night. It was actually Devin Haney's uncle. Because I believe Devin Haney would have been stopped in that fight. But like I said, it's up to the fighter to do so. Ryan Garcia's, to tell you the truth, he fought like shit. His cardio didn't hold up. Had he been in better shape, he gets Devin Haney out of there. Ryan Garcia had to take breaks in between rounds. And that's the only reason why I believe Devin Haney actually won some of the rounds, because that's when Ryan Garcia started shelling up, giving him his back, just going like this. And every time he went like this, he would do it while Devin Haney was literally 3 feet away from him still. 3-4 feet away from him. He would already go like this. And which Devin Haney would just come in and start hitting him in the side like that, because Ryan Garcia needed breaks. He didn't want to gas himself out and leave himself vulnerable to an attack. So he had to keep some energy. So he would put it on him and then shell up. Put it on him and then shell up. His technique didn't hold up technically. He did make the 12 rounds, but his technique actually wasn't there. Had he been in better shape, he gets Devin Haney the fuck out of here. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What's up, Frontline? How you doing? Salute. Frontline, like, I can't wait. What? He's waiting for Boogie to get on somebody. Yeah, they are. Smash the like button. Huh? Either smash the like button or Bam Bam's gonna get you up out of here. Yeah. Yo, Bam Bam's gonna be at your house right behind you. Yo, you ain't pressing that like button? Yo. Yo. Yo, Bam Bam's like the emu guy with the yellow car. He's got the mustache with the glasses. He's got the Round One Sports Talk badge right here. Yeah! Yo! Bam Bam got his belt all the way up right here, and Armando standing right next to him with the same pair of glasses. Police and shit. My man's. Yo. Yeah. The dynamic duo. Just say something. Type something wrong. Yo, you guys are amazing. I'm having a ball up here. Yeah, but guys, listen, man. We have a lot of great big fights coming up, and we know when that Tyson Fury fight comes on, I gotta be watching that, because that's a very interesting fight right there. A lot of people are giving Usyk a lot. He's been acclimated to the division. He fought some really big guys. Dubois. He's a big guy. He might not be the best heavyweight, and he might have a little quit in him. But it's good when you go up against big heavyweights like that to really show if you could move them, and I think that's why Usyk took that kind of fight. Stylistically, this is a good a puncher's fight, you know, and they got a puncher's chance, is what I meant to say. Both fighters, Usyk has a lot to prove. He wants to remain champion. He wants to be the first unified in the four belt era. And Tyson Fury, he's been chasing this for a long time. He's had all four belts, but at different periods in his career. At one time, he had three. Now he has one belt, the WBC. So he wants to unify all four of them. And, May 18th, that's just going to be a really big fight. And I'm going to be tuning into that. The Frank Martin, Tank Davis fight. We've talked about that. I'm going to be tuning into that because, as well, on the undercard, you get the appearance of David the Monster Benavidez, which is going to be making his debut at 175 pounds. And then you also got Arthur Benavidez and Demetrius Bivol. And we have to pay attention to that. They're saying that the winner out of that fight is going to shoot up the pound for pound list even further up. And some people's pound for pound list, they have Demetrius Bivol higher than Naoya Inoue. Yeah, you should see some of these guys pound for pound list. They got Demetrius Bivol like way up there in some of these circles. Although I know that those lists are not official. The official list don't got him way up there. But I believe whoever wins this fight right here will have all four belts and will have a legitimate argument to pushing up further on the pound for pound list. So yeah. And that's going to be a great fight in itself. You know, Usyk is going to win. I like that. Or Tyson Fury. Yo. Hmm. You guys are wild. And yes, I do. Multiple departments here. We have a cooking department too. Look, I mean, Usyk always because of a cruiserweight going up, like the success that Evander Holyfield had, and the thing that Evander Holyfield shared with a lot of people, which I know to be true, is that he moves a lot faster because he was used to seeing a lot faster fighters, where that the bigger heavyweights are just a little bit slower than the light heavyweights. Right. So when a man like Evander Holyfield moved up, not only did he have the skill, he wasn't always power. He didn't have a lot of power, but the one thing, Evander Holyfield looked like a fucking specimen of a man. He was just fucking a heavyweight champ with abs. Evander Holyfield had a way better body than um um fucking what's his name? Joshua. Anthony Joshua, because I used to think that Anthony Joshua was a superior looking fucking heavyweight. And fucking Vander Holyfield, come to think about it, he was a more like he looked like a boxer's boxer. If you was to make him in a video game, you would make him looking like a Vander Holyfield. That's how I would make him looking, because he was just a specimen of a fucking dude, bro. And then he wasn't always like real powerful, but he can fight. His stamina and his speed and the way he threw punches looked like the Rocky movie. He fought like he was in a Rocky movie. Like he was like, and then he would like bring like that kind of fight in a live fight. Evander Holyfield really fought like that. And what he said was that the heavyweights, although they hit hard, they were a lot slower. And Usyk has that against Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has the height with the reach, and Usyk, I believe, is going to have the more faster hands, and I think he's going to throw more volume of punches. Now, coming into this fight, I will take in consideration that the only, I would say, well, not only, okay, but recent, you got to look at the men that knocked down Tyson Fury. and who they were. You mean to tell me Dante Wilder cracked that dude several times in different fights and put him down, and he got up off the ground each time? Dante Wilder, bro, would hit you and probably snap your neck, right? And this guy is getting off the fucking floor. Then the second guy that dropped him, that was in recent, I know another guy dropped him before earlier in his career, right? But I'm talking about now, was another hard hitting puncher, Francis Ngannou. So what does that tell me? If you can't crack harder than Francis Ngannou or Dante Wilder, good fucking luck on keeping him down. Because if you don't got Dante Wilder knockout power, Usyk, you're going to have to beat him in a 12-round decision. I'm not sure if Usyk can put that kind of beating on him where that he can continuously keeps knocking him down. The reason why Dante Wilder couldn't do that is because he had no skills. He couldn't box. Although he hit him with that shot, he couldn't land it no more because he didn't know how to set it up. Where that if Usyk gets you in trouble, that's a different story. That's a way different story. If Usyk gets Tyson Fury in trouble, he knows what to do. Not like Dante Wilder, right? And Francis Ngannou, that he was able to clear his mind or wrap them up because he was just putting his weight on Dante Wilder. Dante Wilder doesn't know distance management. He doesn't know distance or timing at all. He's lost when it comes to that. So all he had to do is wait till he gets a little close to him and grab him. And that's exactly what he did. And he was able to wipe the cobwebs out of his head, survive, and come back and win the fight. But if Usyk has him in that kind of trouble, that's a total different ball game. Uzyk's going to come forward. He's going to know how to throw his punches, how to land his punches, how to hit to the body, how to switch him up. That's a total different ball game. But he would have to get him in trouble first. He would have to have that kind of punching power, which I'm not really sure if he has. Yeah, you knocked out Dubois. Who hasn't? A light Gus will knock out Dubois sometimes. A little fucking quitter, right? So, you know, Dubois pissed me off with that Usyk fight, man, because he had him beat. He had to just get that shit off of his head that, no, they robbed me because I knocked him with a low blow. Fuck that shit. If the ref said it was a low blow, it was a low blow. Keep your head in the fight, Dubois. You got him beat. He's hurt to the body. He looked like his mind checked out of the fight. And he hit him like this, and he just kind of like, I give up. Yo, that's exactly what it looked like, bro. Yeah, Dubois. He pissed me off in that fight, bro. Because I thought he had him beat. And if he would have kept his mind, his mental fucking, he would have stood in the fight. He could have beat Usyk. But no. Yeah, so. He needs to start wearing a Spanish cape in the ring. He does. He does have one. But the guy always grabs it. Well, he doesn't always have it, but after the guy grabs and gives it to him, and after he wins, he puts it on. But he doesn't walk to the ring with it. He puts it on afterwards, Subriel. But in Puerto Rico, June 15th, they're going to be enough Spanish flags hopping all over the stands. It's going to be a beautiful thing. We're going to be watching it. You know what I mean? And then, Liam Paro, he going to be in the building. Much respect. Shout out to Liam Paro and his entire crew. May the best man win. I wish you guys luck, all the luck in the world. But it is what it is. He knows he's coming into enemy's territory. He expects nothing less but a bunch of rowdy Boricuas cheering and supporting the fighter that they love. You know what I'm saying? And PR will definitely be in the building, like a mother. Okay. So, but Liam Paro knows this. So, we're going to be out there showing much love and respect and support to our fighter. If Subriel Matias was fighting in his hometown, they would do the same thing. And the only thing I'm doing is at least acknowledging Liam Paro and thank you for taking the fight. Thank you for giving the fans of Puerto Rico this fight. And thank you for having the courage to enter another man's backyard. That's not easy. Thank you for putting on your undefeated record on the line. And when no one else would sign to fight Subriel in Puerto Rico, this is the man that did. Hats off to you. Thank you. And win, lose, or draw, thank you for the night. Yo. I'm just going up and checking out a couple of your messages and stuff because I know there's a lot of them that I missed as I was going on. I know these fucking dudes, bro, right? And we talked about it right when I was talking about a possibility of me going out to watch Subria Matias in Puerto Rico on June 15th against Liam Paro, right? And then all of a sudden they were announcing that the Tank Davis fight was on June 15th. And I was fucking pissed. I was like, man, bro, why the fuck they gonna put the Tank Davis fight on June 15th? Because, I acknowledge who the fuck Tank Davis is. I'm not stupid, bro. I might have a lot of love for Supriya Matias, and he might have a special place in here for me. But I know who the fuck Tank Davis is, and that's gonna divide us. And I believe a lot of fans that would be tuning in on Tank Davis would be showing their support for Supriya Matias. In fact, those are two American fighters right there. The Americans on Puerto Rico side and the Americans for the American side for Tank Davis. But they're still both American fighters. And then when Subriel Matias is trying to like make his way and his mark and establish himself as one of the biggest superstars now and one of the biggest stars in Puerto Rico, they're gonna fucking put the Tank Davis fight on the same day. Are you fucking kidding me? Like I was like, man, and then you're gonna have on Tank Davis's card is the meet David the Monster Benavidez. So you're really gonna put David the Monster Benavidez on the Tank Davis card with the rest of these fucking dudes against Subriel Matias by himself in Puerto Rico, basically carrying the night? You motherfuckers, bro. Just to shit on Ed Hearn. Just to shut down Ed Hearn. You guys do know. Remember when I was telling you guys, yo, Ed Hearns is everywhere. This motherfucker's jumping out of motherfuckers' bowls of cereal. Pop, I'm here. You want to fight? Like, yo, Ed Hearns is all over the place. And Forbes magazine, I think it was like a week ago, they acknowledged Ed Hearns as the top boxing promoter in all of boxing today. They have the most money. Ed Hearns. Now, he beat top rank this bullshit fantasy story that the PBC got all this money. He beat Oscar De La Hoya and all of them. Ed Hearns is the top boxing promoter right now in all of boxing. And he has some of the biggest names in all of boxing now. With the newly signing acquired of Jaron Boots Ennis and Subriel Matias added to his stable of fighters, in which, in fact, he has still Anthony Joshua, that's a huge fucking star, okay, making big money. He has like a lot of fucking big fighters in the mix. And I was telling you guys, is it me or am I seeing fucking Ed Hearns everywhere? Then all of a sudden I seen him rubbing elbows with the Prince. And once the Prince was like, Ed Hearn, you my nigga, like I fucks with you. And fucking Ed Hearn took off. And now, just last week, Ford Magazine released that. It's in Ford Magazine. I know Ford Magazine is not that big of a deal. That's everything right there. And if they're printing that in Ford Magazine, it's because it's the truth, you know? Nah, Liam Paro. I saw the interview where they asked Liam Paro in the interview. So, what is the only thing you see that Matias is good at you, better than you in? And Liam Paro looked right into the camera and said, the only thing Subriel Matias is better than me in is losing. He already lost. I haven't lost. I'm undefeated. So apparently, the only thing he knows how to do better than me is lose. Because I ain't losing. Those are Liam Paro's words. We about to find out. We about to find out. Really. He told Subriel Matias, brother, there is only one thing you are better than me in, and that is getting your ass kicked. How about that? Yo, Subriel was like, okay, all right, you want, oh, all right. Well, I'm about to bring you over here. Yeah, yeah. Yo, he's talking crazy. He talking crazy. And then you talking all that crazy shit going into my man's hometown. Like Liam Paro is extremely confident, I believe, in this fight. Kudos to him. I if he feels that way about it, then all right. Yeah, the only thing Liam Paro is taking out of Puerto Rico is that L. And that's all he's taking with him. Hey, yo, put this big L on your suitcase. Hey, that's all you taking from me is take that L with you. Yo, I can't wait for the press conference. I hope I'm there. Yeah, I want to be there at the press conference. That's what I'm trying to shoot for. Yeah, Matias has to be careful with Liam. Look, guys, when you're a champion in boxing, that's when your competition, the level of your competition, should be the top. It should never be where that you're a champion and you're fighting in lower weight divisions or upper ones, everywhere else but your division. It shouldn't be that way. It should be every single time you go out there, you're taking a risk. There should not be any tomato cans. There should not be. Every person you fight from the moment you're champion should be all the top guys. This should never be an easy fight for Subriel Matias. And on paper, it's not. This guy is the legitimate WBO global champion. It's an interim belt, right? And he's also, like I said, undefeated. And he has one punch knockout power. None of these fights that these guys should be fighting at this point in the career should be tomato cans. None. You're a fucking world champion. You should be fighting the number 1, 2, 3, 4 guy. If the number 1 guy's not ready, go to the number 2. If you already got a fight schedule, go to the number 3. That's what your competition needs to be looking like. Yeah, so nah, Liam Paro, this is not a walk in the park. Um, I know a lot of people will show support for Subria Matias, and everything you say and feel, that's totally up to you, and I'm in agreement with that. But there's not one part of me that ever thought for 1 second this fight is going to be easy for Subria Matias. Inside of me, I've always knew that Liam Paro um, was a worthy opponent. And actually, I was like, damn, this fight could be a little bit better than what I anticipated it. And at least I'm not going there to freaking Puerto Rico, spending all this money, investing all my time to go out there, and in 30 seconds he knocks the guy out. There goes my night. Like boop, I would like, nah, I want to feel the energy in the fucking building. I want to hear my people and my fans roar as we cheer for Subriel. I want to see us all in unison, just raw, like, you know what I'm saying? That feeling when the crowd is on your side and you guys are rocking with that guy, with your guy, you can feel the energy in the fucking in the stadium wherever they're fighting. You can feel it. And there's no better feeling that when you're at that high and the energy is pumping and the crowd is going and he's got him hurt and all of a sudden a big shot and he goes down. And listen, there is no better feeling though those kind of moments in boxing. So that's what I want. That's what I want. Like Fidel Castro. Yo, nah, man. It's just like those moments, man, and them. Tshoosh. That's, man, I live for that shit. That though, oh, I live for that shit, man. But yeah, man, I gotta tell you, Um, I can't wait. I can't wait to be out there June 15th. I can't wait to see if I can cover some of these things, meet some of these guys. I have a couple other things lined up after that. I'll be headed out to New York. I have a couple, fights in the near future. I'm trying to get out to get you guys better familiar with the fighters, So yeah, absolutely, absolutely, you know. Sabria gives me what's that say? Rounds 1 and 2 and him get a bit tired. Subriel Matias's tactic is always going to be a forward pressure tactics. Liam Paro is going to try to establish his jab, and what's going to end up happening is that Subriel Matias is going to come right over his jab and try to take the jab away from him. What I end up seeing is usually your traditional Subriel Matias fight, where that the fighter, they have good intentions, are starting the fight on their feet and circling around. They don't want to stand in the inside with Subriel Matias. Some of them weren't real movement, and some of his guys were flat footed and wanted to come forward. But some of them did have good footwork and they wanted to evade Subriel. What happened is Subriel was breaking them down as the rounds were going on. He was punching them everywhere, in their arms, in their shoulders, in their here, anywhere. And those punches obviously hurt because there had to be a point in the fight where each of those men were feeling the effects of the punches. And they said to themselves, fuck that, bro. I'm going to stand my ground. And I'm going to take the rest of my energy and I'm going to stop running and I'm going to trade and bang. And once you do that and he got you to decide to do that, it's basically checkmate for Subriel Matias. He got you exactly where he wants you. Standing in front of him, trying to exchange big shots, and he's countering you in between with his big shots. His hooks and the way they sound on the microphones, it's like pow, 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 pow. And it's hard to pick a beat on a guy that throws his punches. And we've talked about this. When you're not boxing like this, right? Your traditional, I could switch it up, right? But he doesn't fight like that, right? He fights from here. He lifts it up from here like this. It's hard to watch his shoulders. You see, where like if I was like this and I was throwing it like this, right? Right? You can see my movement. He's here with it. It's so hard to pick up on a beat like that. It's real hard. And then on top of it, it's not like he's pulling off this style because he's just learning it. Subriel. It's not like he's making this shit up as he goes along. He's a fucking master at that style. So, yeah. Yeah. It'll be difficult for Liam Paro to beat him when all his fighters that Subriel Matias has come up against in one form or another, they look like Liam Paro. Yeah. I mean, Ponce, I think, has a better output. He had more punches, and I think, what did he throw? 100 punches in that first round? It was like 96, some shit like that. So, Kavacek, I'm saying his name wrong, and please forgive me. Davarchek, I believe was better than Liam Paro. I like Liam Paro, but to be honest, to be 100% honest, he doesn't bring anything to the fight that should have me concerned or worried. Like he has so much skill that I fear for Subriel Matias winning the fight. No, I don't. I don't got that kind of no. I just think that it's going to be a good fight, but I do believe that Subriel Matias should be victorious. And where does Subriel go from here? Where does he go? He's not going to fight Devin Haney because Devin Haney's not going to sign up to fight him. Although in a good world, he should take a fight like that on, coming off that Ryan beatdown. And if you could beat Subriel, that would catapult you back the fuck up there to like mega star status again, right? Because as of right now, David wasn't even defeated yet, but he was being defeated by the public. They weren't embracing him already. Coming off of a loss, shit, he needs a big fight, Devin Haney, and he needs to perform well. Well. Once Subriel Matias sees that door open, he's going in, fam. Yeah, you know it. No Koki, what up? Koki. Those short punches are killers, bro. They killers. I was watching Subriel punch. Yeah, man. It's those short ones, man. Yep. They just thumping like boom, boom. I got a vicious body shot. I got a vicious body shot, and I know I got a vicious one. I've been known to snap a rib or two, right? Especially if I'm hitting like no glove on, I can snap ribs, right? But Subriel, he hits different. He hits different. Like, I really truly believe that there's a punch in between you being knocked out and the punch actually waking you up, meaning he hit you a little too hard. if he would just take a little off of it, he'd knock you out. But the fact that he hit you so hard didn't let you get knocked out. Like I've seen hit fighters like that. There was a fighter, case in point. It's like the perfect example. His name was Dan Henderson. He was a UFC fighter. He had a right hand from hell. Dan Henderson. I'm not sure if any of you guys know who he is. And he fought Hua, Shogun Hua. He fought Shogun Hua, Mauricio Shogun Hua. And in that fight, Dan Henderson is truly the definition of a one-punch power puncher. He could probably knock out any human on planet Earth. If you was just to stand there and you let him hit you, he's got 100% out of 100% knockout ratio. I don't think there's too many humans in the world that could take a full-fledged punch from that man. The size of his fist are like this, right? So Dan Henderson and him, they fighting. Him and Shogun Hua. I remember this shit. I'll never forget this, bro. He hit Dan Henderson with a shot in that fight. Bro, you can see it. You can legitimately see it. He hit him so hard that he woke him up. He knocked him out and woke him up at the same time. Yo, the bruise on his face from that shot. He was just spitting the blood. Yo, he must have, bro, he hit him. He went boom. And normally, whenever Dan Henderson hit anyone with a tenth of that shot, he knocked him out. He knocked out Michael Bisping. Ugly. Yo, his toes were like this. They were on top of each other. They were like locking up his feet. They were locking up, stretching out like that. He was out like that, right? Dan Henderson hit hard. When I saw him hit that dude, I was like, yo, that punch was supposed to knock him out. But he hit him too hard. He hit him too hard. Yeah, like there's like men that hit like that. And Subriel has that kind of power that I bet some fighters at some point in the fight wish he knocked them out. Like, just knock me out. Right? Because all I feel is this fucking sledgehammer on both sides. Pow, 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 pow. And you're like, fuck, just knock me out already. Right? And Subriel is just, he's a great puncher, but in order to pull off what Subriel Matias is doing, you have to have a good chin. You got to be able to take those punches. I don't like his style particular as far as longevity for his health, because I would like to Subriel to enjoy his money with his kids at the end. I don't know what he's made of. Every man is not built the same. I know guys that been in wars, and after the career, they were just fine for like ever. Absolutely nothing happened to them guys. I know some guys, I just don't know why it happens to some and it affects them more than others. It's not the same effect through everybody. That I know. Hitman Hearns is a sad case, but Floyd and Mike Tyson, they're fine. Evander Holyfield, fine. Well, Vander's he's getting there now. You could see it. It took a long time for George Foreman, right? George Foreman was a pastor. He had like 3 separate careers. He was even broadcasting, and then later George started having a little bit of the effects, so yeah. Yeah, we're human. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely, brother. It's not like our bodies are not designed to take these fucking punches to the head. When our creators made us, he didn't say, I want you guys to be fighting each other. No, we're not meant to be punched in the face and the head for a long period of time. But we decided to do it and we invented a sport. Oh, Foreman is just something else with his hands, bro. Foreman's punching power was, you know, not until later I didn't want to believe that George Foreman had a harder punch than Mike Tyson. When I was younger, no one had a harder punch than Mike Tyson in my head. I didn't understand a lot of things behind it. I just saw that Mike Tyson wasn't a big man per se. He's all of 5'10". He's not even 6 feet tall. He's in there fighting these guys that are 6 feet, 6'5", 6'4". And these guys, he really was the definition of Mike Tyson Punch Out, like the little video game where the guys were huge in front of him. You know, and because of the fact that I always saw George Foreman as a much bigger statured of a man, that I said that's the only reason why he's hitting harder. Later on, when I went and I watched and George Foreman's entire career, and I realized for his entire career, he hit men out of their shoes. He hit different. And the articles and people and men that wrote on stories of George Foreman's punching power was truly unique. And until I really, really got to look at George Foreman for like, and as a whole, that I realized, wait a minute, he might just be stronger and a better, harder puncher than Mike Tyson. He just might be. And I was like, wow, I mean, it's really up for debate. If you want to consider the fact that Mike was just a smaller guy, then you would say, yeah, Mike's got to be the harder puncher, because just because of size, you got to give it to Mike. But George, he was just, it really looked like he was just going like this. You can see the ferocity, the anger, all the like on Mike Tyson's punches. You can see the power in his punches. You couldn't see that with George Foreman's. George Foreman's punch looked slow as fuck. It looked like he just went like that, reached out and touched you, and all of a sudden this guy's folding like a lawn chair right in front of you. It didn't look like George had to do much effort. It looked effortless with George. Mike Tyson looked like he had to turn into a beast. Mike Tyson was actually like, raw, like really wanting to rip your head off. And his movement, his delivery, everything showed it. Where George Foreman was just like, walking away. It was fucking remarkable. Yo, you remember Dan? Dan Henderson? Yeah. Shogun Rua. Yeah, you guys know about them dudes? He was good too. Mauricio Shogun Rua. He was bad motherfucker, bro. Yo, we got the donation. Panic attack. Yo, the other day, panic attack, I owe you two. Not only did I not have my effects, whenever you guys see this setup right here, I can't connect my effects to this streaming, but I like it because it allows me to put, your pop-ups up and on the other one. Now, when I stream on the other platform, I can use my effects, but no pop-ups and none of that. But it shows the other one where that it was like blue and I couldn't read. I thought it said like the North Pacific or Antarctic Pacific. And when I first seen it, I was like, what the fuck is this? But it was blue, it blended in. But thank you. Thank you for your 5 spot. I'm getting paid tomorrow, so I gotta make sure my man gets paid too. Thank you for Thank you, Round One Sports Talk. I hope you guys hear that. But yeah, man. Who the Naoya is trash, period. Who the hell is this? Who invited this guy to the party? Where did he come from? On June 15th, right? Hell yeah. Is Haney in the game? I say that's Haney in the game. So true. Foreman was the heavyweight bag, bro. Yo, that shit looked like yo, man. Did you see George Foreman in that bag? Yo, that heavyweight bag was screaming. Ah! What did I do to you, George Foreman? Ah! Yo. Yeah, yeah. Now you can't fight Javante or Shakur, cherry pick fights. This guy, if you want to go cloud shade on just push some people buttons on, you know what I mean? Look, I'll respect it. I'll respect it. You can have your right to your opinion, but I'm gonna tell you what. None of the fighters that you mentioned are in Naoya Inoue's weight class. And if you're going to talk about Naoya Inoue, at least spell his name right. So if you're going to come on my show, at least talk about guys that are in his division. And then if you're going to add somebody else, Shakur Stevenson, come on, my man. Really? Really? You might as well just said Naoya Inoue can't fight Terrence Crawford. That would have been better. That would have been better. We know these imaginary fights, but I can't call a guy a pussy or that he doesn't fight anybody on Fantasy Island. How am I going to say Naoya Inoue is a pussy for not wanting to fight Gervonta Davis, which is not in his weight class or nowhere near it? That's just people's opinion. So you're really going to call this guy a pussy on an opinion? Not someone in his division. No, but because of a Fantasy Island fight that wouldn't even be, it's not possible right now. Maybe later in the future. But your whole thing of him being a pussy is because he's not fighting much bigger guys in a different weight division. Brother, if you're going to come here, this is Round One Sports Talk. We speak facts here and we bring facts. And at least if you're going to down a guy, spell his name right. That's it. He spells his name wrong too. You spell trash right, but it's not an I, it's an O. He's got to take that I out. I'm going to help you out with that. Yeah, he did. He's not world champion. He's Japan's champion. Yo, is someone paying you to come to my show and say ridiculous things? Because you got to be trolling me right now. You have to be, because nothing that you're saying is even remotely true. He won the Japan belt um 24 fights ago. The titles that he has now are legitimately world championship, all four major sanctioning bodies. You don't that's not has nothing to do with Japan. That's for the entire world. If you was to take the Japanese championship or the Oriental championship, that would only be for Japan. The belts that Naoya Inoue have are for the entire world. That's not just Japan's champion. No, he has all four belts for the entire world. So, my man, if you're gonna once again, if you're gonna, I'll sit here and I'll respect anything you got to say. And if you're saying that Naoya Inoue is trash, I'll take that. I'll take that. But you gotta at least give me a point that's true. Opinions and Fantasy Island, I could say anything about any fighter. Doesn't make it true. I can tell you right now, I could beat every fighter from the heavyweight down to the 208, 108, and that I could win all the belts in every boxing weight class right now, getting off my chair. Just because I say it out my mouth doesn't mean it's true. So if you're going to debate or slander and put down such a superior fighter like Naoya Inoue, please point out something that remotely pertains to something true, and at least your opinion can be merit. I can say, well, at least he's speaking something true, and if he feels like that, well, then we can't be mad at him for his opinion. No, right? But this is what this guy wants to do. You see this? You see this? He's like, you see? And like I would be afraid to put that up. Bro, I'll let the world see what you say. Because thank God things ain't because what you say. Where's your podcast? What are you doing with yourself? How are you? You know what I'm saying? But yet my shit is so trash, but you here sharing messages on my podcast show. Thank you. Come again. Trying to show me up. And where the hell are my cops at? Get them out of here. I don't even argue with fools. He gets no more of my attention. He don't even got the time for me to even pronounce his name. You let me cook. Yeah, thank you. No doubt, no doubt. I would have let you no, let me cook. Absolutely. But I was gonna let you know when I had enough of it. Because I thought he was gonna at least say something interesting, or I was gonna get him into a conversation and maybe, we could share some viewpoints here. But he was just straight up saying anything. He must have been paid by Casamera. Casamera might have gave him a couple dollars to come on my show. He go bye bye. Hey yo, that was his first. He came up. Did you guys call me? I'm here. Did you guys say you need a wrench? Bam Bam was on it. Yeah. Do I think Subria smokes Tio? Okay. My honest assessment about that, there's a part of me that would like to be biased and rock with Subriel Matias and say to myself, nah, fuck that. Subriel's gonna destroy Teofimo Lopez. But my boxing IQ will not allow me to see that. I cannot allow myself to have a favorite, and I vowed that I would do that for as long as I have this YouTube channel. I will always speak exactly what I see and I feel. Teofimo Lopez is a much craftier puncher and a slick puncher than a lot of people give him credit for. The one area that Teofimo Lopez is not strong in is the mental warfare. He's not that strong as a lot of people would like him to believe he is. um as you could see with George Camboza, even though it was apparent that it was just him wanting to look for that knockout, that he kept being reckless in the fight. Had he settled in and his mental preparation would have been better, he would have recognized that. You see, now Subriel Matias is a tough man. And even though I think Teo is a good slick puncher and he's got a lot of good power, I don't think he's going to have enough at the end to beat Subriel. I think it's going to be a way better fight, and it's going to be a real. I think it'll go 12 rounds. I don't think either of these guys knock each other out, and I believe that Subriel Matias wins in a decision against Teofimo Lopez. I don't think that I think that Teal is smart enough, crafty enough to evade a lot of the shots from Subriel. But at some point in the fight, he's going to become gun shy. He's going to feel Subriel's power. I just don't think Yo, that shit come back on? Good, good. I had to go get the ether cord. That shit kept buffing right there. So I connected it. But like I was saying, I think that when people talk about Subriel wiping down Tio, I don't think it's going to be that kind of fight in my head. I think I give Tio, even though he talks a lot of caca, I still give him credit as a boxer. And I think that Tio has enough and enough boxing experience to survive the 12 rounds with Subriel Matias. Whatever those other guys lacked in, of not being able to move around and give Tio enough offense. I think that Tio has enough offense and better punching power than the rest of those guys that Subriel fought with, except the last guy, Urbichek. He was a true knockout punch artist, right? So, and Tio's really like slick with it. He's better. He's better at his selection of punches and the way he sets up his combinations than Matias's last guys. Although I don't think Tio has enough to beat Subriel. I think Subriel will weather anything Tio really has. And I think he'll be battered. Um if he stops Tio, I think it'll be real late, like the 11th, 12th round. If he doesn't stop Tio, I think it'll go the distance, but Subriel would definitely pull off the victory. Yeah. But I just think it'll be a better as of right now, Teofimo Lopez is the best champion and the best challenge for Subriel Matias at 140. There's no other fight I see. After that Devin Haney debacle, fucking he got rocked. That pretty much didn't leave anybody else. And Subriel Matias has already ran through the division. The only fight there is to be made is between Subriel Matias and Teofimo Lopez. And if Teofimo Lopez really meant what he said, oh, put him in front of me. Puerto Rican fighters are easy. I would like to see that. I actually would like to see that. And if, according to Tio, out of his mouth, um, this is going to be an easy night. This is easy money, Tio, according to you. So why don't you come up and show the world how easy, in fact, it really can be? Because I would like to see it. You know, I would love to see Tio against Matias. I would love to see it. I just know that, once again, I reintegrate. Anything can happen in a fight. Anybody can get knocked out early. But if it was to play out the way I see it, Tio is the best skilled fighter at 140 for Subriel. And Subriel is the best skilled fighter for Tio. That's how I see it. And when you got the best two skilled guys, usually that spells out decision, or you can get a great knockout, but um it usually types up into decision, because when you see your guy knocking out guy after guy, it just means that those guys really weren't on his level and he was just that much better and hit that much harder than the other guy. But when you got two superior skilled guys, he's not going to hit Tio with all those shots. I don't see. I think Tio is just, he's not going to let him walk through the front door. Matias is going to have to earn it. And that's going to come by a little round at the round and seeing what happens. He's going to have to take a little to give a little and so forth and so forth. There could be a stoppage, of course. Subir Matias can knock Tio out in any round, and Tio has the potential of doing the same, and that's why I like it. And that's why I like it. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But every version in my head, um, I see Matias winning, and there's like one or two versions I see Tio coming out on top. But sometimes I gotta question myself: am I seeing that because of the fact that Tio's a Puerto Rican fighter? So I really try to take myself out of the equation in order to break down a fight like that. I'll leave that fight a 50-50 fight, and I'll leave that fight, may the best man win, so absolutely. Well, what will you expect from delusional fans from a delusional fighter? They kind of like, match each other. When you got a delusional fighter, then you must have delusional fans then. You know what I'm saying? Because Tio is delusional. Talk about I didn't lose that fight against no, you did lose the fight, bro. We all saw it. You lost. Is that what the referees the judges said? Well, then you lost, man. So he's not a very good loser. He's a sword sport. He's not a very good loser at all. So, but that's on him. That's on him. But still, with all that, Matias wins by the 10th, you think? Thank you. Look, I mean, I gotta admit though, and then you got like fighters like the Russells. The Russell wants to move up and fight Teofimo Lopez too, right? And you guys got a lot of good fighters at 140. There's just a lot of good guys, but when we're those are all guys, none of those guys have belts. And the question was, which one of the champions should Tio Sabria fight? And I just don't see Devin Haney. Isa Pipo Cruz is about to fight Jose Valenzuela. And yeah, the fight I would actually really like to see is just Tio and Subria get it on after this fight, of course, with Liam Paro, and of course if Teofimo Lopez is successful in Honduras, and then they can double back and give us those big fights as a unification. And I believe that unification fights are the best fights because that makes the fight that much bigger, and you can build for a future mega event. So yeah, absolutely. Fight fans, listen, we have had an amazing night here at Round One Sports Talk. Thank you for all your help. Thank you for tuning into the channel. Please, can we get these likes? Armando as my my other sheriff, he needs to like let people know that to get these likes up too. I saw that my other deputy was doing his job, so come on guys, and good thing you guys let me cook and didn't jump in and pull the fight early. You know what I'm saying? I wanted my opportunity. You know what I mean? Amando, yeah. You know. So listen, guys, fight fans, you guys have always been a pleasure. You guys, I love chopping it up with you guys. This has been an amazing show. If you guys have anything else to say, I'll leave it on for a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. Bam, bam. You guys did an amazing job. You know, yes, you did do your job, Armando. Yes, you did. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Talking about, I beat all Puerto Ricans I faced, and he hasn't faced what? No, no, of course not. There's it. Teal's just a fucking. He's just a shit talker, bro. He just likes to stir up, and he is the definition of cloud chasing and trolling. Teal. But he understands that there is a part of that in this sport, and sometimes that cloud chasing and shit is necessary when you see that you might be out of action for a few months. It's good to keep your name in the media. See, case in point, that's exactly what happened to Naoya Inoue. Because of the fact that Naoya Inoue doesn't talk shit, you only didn't see him for 6 fucking months. And right away, people started to forget about him because his name is not in social media plastered to everybody else's name. So what happens? Junto Nagatoni and the rest of these Japanese guys are fighting. And fresh off the fight, the fans in Japan saw what? Saw the last Japanese fighters looking awesome. And they're fighting more frequently because at the time, those guys didn't have belts. You could schedule fights like that, right? So Naoya Inoue, we're sitting here just clamoring for the day, man. I can't wait to see him fight next. But his name is not in the mix. And that's why out of sight, out of mind. You see? So America realized that in business 40 years ago, right? In a New York City minute where shit happens like this. And if your name is not in the mix, out of sight, out of mind. So fighters use those kind of ploys. They don't give a fuck whose name it is. Just attach my name to one of the biggest fighters in the world and tell them that I called them a bitch and that I'm coming. Whether you have any intentions on fighting that guy or not, it's got everybody talking. And guess where your name's at? In the tip of everybody else's mouth. That's why Ryan Garcia attached his name to Terrence Crawford. You know, this guy will attach his name to this guy. This guy will say he's going to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez every day. Saul says this about this guy. Keeps your name in the buzz and what's trending. And your name doesn't die down. No sooner than Naoya Inoue knocks out the guy in the ring, it's pretty much the last time we hear from him until his next fight. He's not in the media. And that's why some of this is actually necessary. Sometimes fighters take it too far and they come up with these exaggerating, like Ryan Garcia next is going to challenge Tyson Fury next. Fury, I want you. You know what I mean? Right? And like we're going to believe that shit. You feel me? So that's how it goes, man. This mother still here typing. He's back in the fucking room. Yo, who pays you? And he's spelling it right now. You went and found out the right spelling, came back and put it in bold letters this time. Because now, yeah, it's that. Bro, how is Naoya trash if he's has all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions, 23 title successful fights, championship world title fights in a row, and has never lost? In his last 10 fights, he fought for 2 belts or more. Name me one of your fighters that can do that. I'll wait. I'll be right here. Tape it in. He found the dictionary. I mean, besides name calling and these corny jokes that you throwing out, are you ever going to talk boxing? Bro, yo, uh, Armando, get him out of here. He hasn't said one boxing thing yet. Right. Now you can't fight top ranked fighters. Said. What do you mean? He just fought Luis Pantera Nari. He was the number 1 top WBC ranked fighter in the world. Bro, can you say something true? What are you talking about? Get him out of here, bro. Get that dude out of here, man. He's got to be paid by somebody. Nothing that he's ever said. I would argue let me cook. I'm a big boy. I can take care of myself. But when you're just wasting my time and I've been talking for almost 2 hours and fucking I'm about to wrap up the show and you start asking me stupid questions about, that you're not saying anything, I just don't got no time for it right now. Listen, guys, I love you guys. You guys have been the best. Yo, Armando. Yo, then get him, dog. Then get him one time. Yeah, but he ain't saying anything, man. Uh, that was Luis Nery alias account. Yeah, yeah, yo, that was yo. Oh my god. Yo, I'm about to have to hire you for an enforcer because you know what I mean. I got my other two officers, and they still ain't rocked, homeboy. I got him. I got him. Yeah, he has a lot of time on his hand. Got to put him on a little timeout on YouTube. Yo, this is mad fun too. Yo, listen, fight fans, I love you guys. I'm about to go blaze one up. I don't want to do it here. You know, I'm gonna respect my sister. She asked me to do something, then I'll do it. But tomorrow, I'll blaze tomorrow. Nah. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing all your support. Please, it takes nothing. Give the video a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Wait 1 second before anybody goes anywhere. Don't everybody leave yet. We might have did it. I was gonna make an announcement, but I didn't know if it was gonna happen today. I'm not sure if we did it yet. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on. Nah, we didn't do it yet. I got 1,997 subscribers. I thought today was gonna be the 2,000 subscriber show, but we didn't hit the mark. I didn't get enough subscribers today, or from this point. Probably get them later tonight or something. But I thought that I might just be able to hit that mark right now, and ah, we just didn't hit the mark. 3 subscribers away. So tune into our 2,000 mark. I want to hit the 2,000 mark in subscribers. That's gonna be a good episode. I want to make a good episode on that one. So listen, fight fans, I love you guys. I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace, man. Some of you guys were with me from the beginning. Oh, well, apparently a lot of you guys were, but no, the real dogs. Like when I first started, like my 10th subscriber. Bro, I got 20 subscribers. I told my wife, I'm gonna go in today to work and I'm gonna smack my boss, knock over the coffee. I fucking quit. I got 20 subscribers. I'm famous, bitch. Yo, yo, I almost lost my mind with 20 subscribers. Now I got 2,000, and it's like, I want to go for more. Always pushing. But I love you guys. And I'm out this bitch.